Plaintiff Lance Parker married the defendant after meeting online, but he claims he divorced her because she was verbally and physically abusive towards his son. Lance is suing his ex-wife for stolen money. Defendant Angelina Evans says while married to Lance, he had her falsely committed to a mental ward, but she was released soon after without incident. Angelina's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Sir, in 2016, I met Angelina on a dating website, and we dated, went out on a date, the first date, and it seemed okay, and so I wanted to go out on a second date, went on the second date. The second date, Angelina started telling me how she was having problems with her roommate and couldn't go back home and things, and so anyway, she ended up staying at
How long was that second date after the first?
Approximately 2 weeks.
Okay. Then she started dry begging about you getting her apartment. That what you're saying?
Well, she ended up staying at my place for about 7 days after the second date. That's correct.
All right. Then what happened after the seventh day? You all
second date.
Rested?
Well,
on the Sabbath?
Plaintiff Lance Parker is suing his ex-wife, who claims while married, Lance had her falsely committed to a mental ward.
She continued to stay there or not? That's my point. You say she stayed there for the next 7 days. Then what?
She went back to her place that time, and then came back a third time. We went out again, and then that time she didn't go home.
Has she yet to go home?
Do what, sir?
Has she yet to go home?
Yes, sir. We divorced.
You got married when? Tell me that part.
We got married in it'd be March 30th of 17.
All right. And how was that? How did that go? Your marriage?
That wasn't good.
Why?
Angelina didn't tell me that she was bipolar before we got married.
Your Honor, I have proof I am not bipolar.
Why'd you go get tested for it then? You must have thought there was possibility. Doc, can you give me a report to say I'm not bipolar? Why do you want that? Because I'm acting like it. So check me out.
Your Honor, during the marriage, she was abusive to my son, who was 10 years old at the time.
In what way?
Really?
Hitting him, kicking him, yelling and screaming at him all the time. I didn't see a lot of it,
really?
and then one day I did see it. I saw her kicking. And
She didn't have outbursts on you?
She yelled at me sometimes, but it wasn't physical.
I didn't say that. Wow. Outbursts. I mean, just kind of go crazy on you verbally.
Yes, sir. That happened quite often.
And that's in the neighborhood.
And
that's in the neighborhood of bipolar, uncontrollable outbursts.
It finally came to a head right before we got divorced. I divorced her a month after. But it came to a head when she came home one day, and she went in the house and got a bottle of wine, and she downed the bottle of wine in like 5 minutes, came out to my shop saying that she wanted to kill herself, or she wanted me to kill her, and she wanted to be off the face of the earth. I took my son, went in the house. I came back out. She was passed out on the floor of the shop. I finally got her back in the house. She passed out again. Before she passed out in the house that time, I asked her, because I was concerned about some pain medicine that she'd been on, if she'd taken any pills. She said she didn't know. And so she passed out, and I got her back to the room, into the bed, and I called the police. And I was concerned about her safety. The police came. They told me, they said they couldn't take her unless she wanted to go. And they asked her if she wanted to go get help. And finally, she consented. And that's how she ended up in the ambulance, ended up in the hospital.
Ma'am, you want to address that? Since that was a principal part of the case thus far, is whether you suffer from bipolar disorder. Why don't you address this? What happened, and anything else you want to tell me about this allegation?
Well, like he said, we did meet online. Things, he pursued me, I pursued him. My family friends told me not to, but you know, love is stupid. You get blind. Well, being bipolar, no, I'm not. And the reason I handed you those papers is because the night that I did drink wine, yes, I did. Yes, I got drunk. I woke up to cops all around my bed telling me I had to go to the hospital. It was because he signed a document committing me to the mental ward.
Why do you think he did that?
Well, he's told me he's done it to his past 2 ex-wives, so no telling. Controlling.
No, sir.
You had your 2 ex-wives committed?
No, sir.
That does sound like it. No offense, but that ain't the bad way to. That ain't the bad way to get your wife out of there. You have them committed. You say you don't have any issues, so I can laugh. I'm reading.
No, that's good.
And assessment. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got depression and anxiety.
So that's what
I'll
she
admit to
witnessed.
that.
So she has depression. That's what they diagnosed.
Plaintiff Lance Parker is suing his ex-wife, who claims while married, Lance had her falsely committed to a mental ward.
Tell me why you are suing her for stolen money. What happened?
Earlier this year, I was paying my truck payment of $680.21. The truck payment went to...
Let me back you up one more time. What did you tell them to get those other wives and commit it? How does that go? Because I could tell her, well, I mean, give me something, man. Give me something to work with.
That didn't happen.
Come on. You didn't get them out through, well, it's a good idea whether it happened or not. All right.
No.
I'll write that down. Have them committed, say that they threaten you. And have committed. A regular restraining order won't do because that expires. So commitment is what you seek. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just trying to see my approach to this. Go ahead.
So earlier this year, I was paying my truck payment, but the first listing on my bill pay was still a bill for Angelina to this collection agency. And so I got the copy of the check here, went to them. I didn't find out about it till the 1st of February this year. And when I found out about it, I called the collection agency as soon as I found out. Called them probably 20 times in one day because they kept telling me because I wasn't her, I couldn't find out about the payment made on her account. So finally, the one person I got a hold of said that they was going to refund the money to me and don't worry about it. I had called Angelina and I let her know ahead of time. I said, if you see this money, let me know.
No, you did not.
She said that she would let me know, and she said that if it come to her, she'd give it over.
Lie.
The second time, I called the company, and they double-checked, and they said, yes, there was a payment made, but it went to Angelina. And then they told me that she had already cashed it. And so I called her back. And I said, you've done told me that you didn't know about it. Now here you cashed it. And I said, now we've got a problem. And I even have text messages where I text her and saying, that it wasn't right.
Did she respond?
No, sir, she did not.
Let me see them. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me about this?
So, yes, I did receive a check for $610.75. I called the company because I didn't know what it was for. I asked them, they said it was an overpayment of my medical bill. They said it's fine,
That's
cash
not
it.
true, sir. She called them.
Let her finish.
They said, go ahead, cash it, it's fine. I thought it was for my car accident that I had a year and a half that was getting settled up, that just recently got settled. After I cashed it is when I got the phone call from him telling me it was fraud. Well, he called me, harassing me. I didn't want the aggravation. I had my phone number changed. So I didn't have to be bothered.
Plaintiff Lance Parker is suing his ex-wife, who claims while married, Lance had her falsely committed to a mental ward.
Why didn't you give him the money?
Why? I didn't know about it until after I cashed it and
Right. So
spent
why didn't
it.
you give it? Why didn't you tell him you were going to pay him after you spent
I
it?
never told him I was going to pay him or
I'm
give it to
asking
him.
you, why
didn't I?
you? Yes, ma'am. It wasn't your money. You had no legal right to it. You spent something that wasn't yours. When you find out it's not yours, you let the person know that you owe them. And you might even needed a payment plan, but not just change your number when you receive something that you have no legal right to. For you to change your number was an indication that you had a consciousness of guilt. You knew you were wrong. That's why you changed your number.
No, I
You
didn't want to be
cannot keep
harassed.
things that you have no legal right to. Many people think they can, but try it with the bank. Let the bank put some money in your account that you're not entitled to, and you withdraw that money, and they come and ask for their money, or they try and move it from your account, and you have drawn all the money out. You think they're gonna say, oh, well, we'll let it go. Let them have that $20,000 that we mistakenly put into her account, and she spent within 30 minutes. Our loss. No, you had no legal right to it. And so you must return it. How does he owe you the counterclaim for $1,000?
Mental
Emotional
anguish.
distress. What did he do?
Put me in a mental ward for no reason. Wrong, telling me that I tried this when never happened. It is stupid. I mean, he's done it before.
Done it with who, ma'am? You have evidence that he's done that
Well,
with
no.
a different wife.
I don't, his past, I don't care.
All right, ma'am, I think, quite frankly, he did the right thing to take you in. If you're suffering from major depression, and that is a critical symptom, and that is something not to be played with.
No.
When a person expresses that they're depressed and that they have suicidal feelings, that's nothing to wait around to see if they feel better. So I think he did right by you. I'm going to have to dismiss your claim, but I'm going to grant you yours. You were the legal owner of that money. And
Thank you,
so
sir.
You'll remain that, and she'll have to pay. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I tried to do the right thing in getting her help with her depression when she was suicidal, and the money was simply mine.
First of all, you got to quit lying to yourself, trying to make you look like a better person. You're very controlling, and you need to grow up. And I hope you die a lonely man.